Hello everybody. Today Doug sends me up the river without a paddle. He asked me to not prepare anything and then smashed me with 5 moats that Kalium and Marketing Pros have got and left me floundering, thinking on my feet, while showing me pictures of a King Charles Cavalier Spaniel called Bud. It's one of the toughest podcast environments I've ever walked into, but then again, with a partner in crime like Doughaines, what do you expect?
Welcome to Founders Therapy Podcast with Doug and Rich. With Doug and Rich.
Morning, Richard.
Good morning, Doug. Nice to see you.
Today we're going to talk about moats. Moats around our businesses and what moats we have and what moats are any good, what moats are shit, what moats need to be better. And I need to stop swearing. Do you know how many times I swore in the last episode?
I've probably over 10.
Me, 62. You 2.
You're kidding. You swore 62 times?
Yeah, I think that my swearing is throttling our podcast on YouTube. It's that bad. So I'm going to stop doing it. Occasionally, maybe. But if I do it a lot, you need to tell me.
You can,
Moats.
Moats. Let's go. Moats.
Moats around Mahara, Rich.
Yes.
Hang on, we need to do something. We need to give an intro to who we are, because the person that was giving me feedback said they didn't know who we were. So, Rich, in 8 seconds, who are you?
CEO, try that again. Co-CEO and co-founder of Mahara Venture Studio based in the UK, Asia, South Africa, and America.
Doug, founder of 2 companies, Kalium, which is a marketing agency. We do paid and search, and Marketing Pros, which places marketers working remotely in South Africa into companies all over the world. Moats. Mahara Moats. Please, no swearing.
All right, how to tackle this. So we obviously build innovative tech product, right? So we have people in our hubs building out products brought to us by co-founders typically, or larger businesses that want to go and build something innovative. So is that defensible? No. You could have someone going to start a company, get some great engineers, some product people together, and they can replicate what we have pretty easily. So I don't think we've got a moat around our actual, operation and the services we offer. I think we do have a fractional moat in terms of people being to accelerate to our size if they were going to start as a venture studio by our locations. So I think the fact that we can support North American founders, we can support European founders, we can support Australian and Asian founders, that does give us maybe a leg up rather than a moat, because you could still be attacked in each of those geographical kind of areas. So maybe that's not necessarily, it's a strength. It's definitely a USP, but it's not necessarily a moat. I think our primary moat is probably the proprietary AI tech we're building to create efficiencies inside of what we're building. So it's not just necessarily about acceleration. It's about, being able to make sure we can build product effectively and efficiently, in a way that can kind of scale easier. So I think we do have a moat around some proprietary tech we've got.
But do you not think with your company that, I think your international workforce is a huge moat, right? Someone wants you want to go and operate with that cost base. You want to have those offices and teams around the world. That is incredibly difficult to do. Fish properly.
Yeah, but the question there would be, why do you need to do it collectively all around the world? Why wouldn't you just want to work with inside of America? Why wouldn't you just work with inside the UK? Then you could do it. You don't have to have all of those regions to be able to be a threat, right?
No, but from a cost-based perspective, you've got an extremely high competitive advantage because you have a massive office and infrastructure in Cape Town, Bangkok, and Mexico. I think that's a significant moat around your business.
Yeah, I think collectively, if you're looking at it as a whole, but I think if you were to go and start up in the UK now and you wanted to go and follow our model, you could do it. It would take you a long time, but you could do it. It's not like proprietary IP that can't be copied that's had 10 years worth of work on it. You know, it's like, I mean, you take a look at OpenAI recently, right? That was an interesting moat that kind of got a little bit squeezed. So they spent, they said they spent hundreds of millions training the AI model, right, for OpenAI. And that is a significant moat. Not everybody's got 100 million. Not everybody's got 10, 5, 6 years to go and do it. And then that lad out of China comes along and says he's done it for 5 million and it took, months. That means their moat is significantly reduced, right? Because someone else could go and build another AI system, and then they're starting to challenge on different levels. If you look at it in our perspective, you could go and do what we do, but it would take time, but it's not impossible because it's not proprietary.
Yeah, it's not, but like, I think that your international distributed team is a huge moat. Like the AI and the automations that you're building, also a moat. But I look at our business and I just think, I think it would be easier to copy the AI automation stuff than it would be to go and build those complicated teams and get the culture right all over the world, in my opinion. The other moat that you have that is hard to quantify and hard to value is just, you just have the organizational understanding of how to build these products. That, like, who the fuck else has that? Not many companies have done it so many times, been through so many wars. And it's like, I think companies underprice their like operational cadence. Like, you look now at what's happening in the world, and this is a little bit dark, but you look at like the Ukrainian military, they don't necessarily have more resources, more manpower, more money, more anything than, say, a British military, but they're going to be way more effective because they've just spent 3 years in a horrific war fighting. And in business, I think the principle is the same. Like, if you've been through the mill, it's like with SEO. Anyone can set up an SEO agency, but we have just done so many campaigns. I can just look at any company and just say, like, I know what you need to do. It's this, this, and this. And I think you guys can do that with products.
Yeah, I think you could say there's a moat around expertise and experience. I suppose you could say that. But if we're talking practically about, could someone go out and start a mirror image of our company? Yes, they could. Would it be as effective as us? Probably not. Would it be as good as us? Probably not. So if we were like looking to sell the company, which we're not, I would absolutely position everything you've just said as the reasons to why we are valuable and why we should be the ones to be looked at. But I couldn't go and start an OpenAI clone now. There is a significant moat from a technical capability, a capital perspective, a time perspective. And I don't think we necessarily share that strength. But then again, the heart of what we do is product building. That's services. It's professional services. It's a hard thing. It's like saying an accountant's got a moat because they've been in business for 40 years. Maybe they do. It doesn't stop the young upstart coming through. And we're very aware of what our USP is in the market and the value we provide. And we know our expertise is, world class, to be honest. But I think the adding in the tech sprinkles, like the IP proprietary tech that I talked about, and it's about building efficiently and effectively, adding in that does give us that additional strength. And I was chatting to I was just chatting to a founder 2 days ago, who we are interested in investing in. So interested in building his product out with him. And he shopped around, which is exactly as I spoke to another one yesterday who was also shopping around, which I think is fantastic. You need to go and speak to different partners and providers as we speak to hundreds of startups. And his response was, he says, look, I would love to work with you if you want to work with me, because I spoke to 10 different companies. And he says, you guys just know the most. You're just the best at what you do. And I've spoken to 10. And this is, and he'd referenced us and everything. So there is a moat, as you're saying, around expertise and experience, but bring great experienced people together, stick them together, we could be challenged on that. So sure, it's a moat, it just might be a little bit shallow.
I think that people think that technology and automation stuff is a moat, but the real moats, the actual value that you drive,
people,
is the expertise and the people and the infrastructure. And good luck anyone that wants to go and build your infrastructure in Cape Town. Good luck.
Yeah, good luck.
That's going to cost you.
You should try Mexico as well. The regulation to figure that stuff out. Oh, brutal. But also really difficult.
It is the regulation, but it's also like totally different. I mean, South Africa's like, it's a totally different business environment to the UK and the US.
Yep.
It's completely like the cultural similarities, yeah, but the environment in terms of the people, in terms of the culture, all of that, it is different. And you've spent 5 years figuring that out, and you know how to build a team there now.
6 now, yeah.
Yeah, 6 years. Bangkok, you've been there for what, 12, 15, whatever.
2011 we opened in Bangkok.
If I wanted to go, what am I going to do if I want to go and build a team in Bangkok? What good luck.
Yeah, I mean, it was really tricky. So that, just speaking on that and the kind of challenges. So we originally had a partnership. That's how we started Bangkok for 5 years, and those guys ended up wanting to go off and doing their own thing. So Prisha and I rebuilt it all in 2016, and I was out there for 6 trips in, a bit like you did when you first started Cape Town, like 6 trips really, really quickly. But having that core of my relationship with Prisha was the reason we were able to do it. If we didn't have her on the ground, understanding it as much, she understands it more than I did, but I understood it because I'd lived there. If we didn't have that, good luck. Super, super difficult to go and do this. 1, because of the remoteness. 2, because of the, the cultural changes, but also, how do you go and set up the bank accounts? How do you go and get a company legally registered? How do you communicate? It's wild. So yeah, we have definitely worked hard to get Cape Town, Mexico, and Bangkok done, and thankfully they're all humming. Right? I mean, Guadalajara is 2.5 years old now, and the team there are just wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So happy we chose Mexico as our 3rd hub.
Yeah, but those international offices are so difficult because companies think, we're just going to go and we're just going to trundle down to South Africa and hire a few people. It is a fucking rat's nest of shit in any international location, not South Africa specifically. It is just, you are not going to do it if you haven't got there's no way that I could have done South Africa without Liv, Amber, Martin, to be fair.
Martin was instrumental for us, massively instrumental for us.
Because they just know, like, this is the type of culture, this is the type of person you've got to find. South Africa is great because there are, that's probably easier than a Bangkok or Mexico because there are so many kind of cultural similarities, but it's still a rat's nest in any international. Anyway, so I think that is a huge moat for you guys. I want to give you 5 moats for marketing pros, and I just want to get your opinion actually on these.
Says the guy that's prepared for the podcast. Chuck's question at me. I've got five things. Just pulls the paper over. There we go, written in bright red. Okay, so Doug, nice and prepared. Yeah.
This whole thing is about making.
What do you want to talk about today? I don't know. Okay, we're going to talk about Mahara's moats. Okay, my 5 overcomes the slates. Here it goes.
Yeah. Mahara's moats record. So. It's actually important to determine which moats are actually valuable and which ones people think are valuable. So we've got 5. So 1 is we just know what we're doing. So we've just got IP on how to hire in South Africa. Which is
that expertise. Yep.
2 is like our internal team. It's kind of the same point, but they know how to do it. They know what to do. They're really, really good. If you wanted to get a recruitment, I think our recruitment team's got to be the best in that country, just because the way we've trained them, because of who they are, because of our brand that they want to be part of. And that's part of IP, but I think that's important. The AI and automation that we're building, similar to you, is going to be, I think, the best in class in recruitment. It's going to be really, really good. You could just copy it, but it's not going to be straightforward to do that. Sustainable pipeline, we're working on, but we know how to. That means for us, we know how to get clients, but crucially, we know how to get the good ones. So, like, we can qualify a business and be like, are they going to be a kind of a good long-term partner? But the 5th one, which I think is the most important and the one that you just cannot replicate, that we're spending more and more time investing in, is like local brand. Because for us, everything is about the quality of the person that we find. So we are trying to be the place that every marketer in South Africa thinks, I want to work with them and I want them to place me. And if we can become that go-to, which I think we can, and we are on the way to doing that, I think that is the biggest moat around this business, because you can't just create brand. There's nothing you can do. You can't just flick it up. You can create pipeline. You can build automation. You can try and hire a team. You can build an office. Nothing can build that long-term brand. So I think brand is 1. Expertise is 2, because you can't just magic up expertise. And so they're our 5 moats.
So that's quite interesting. So if you'd have given me an inkling of what we were going to talk about and allow me to prepare instead of throwing me under the bus like poor old Bud the Cavalier King Charles Spaniel trying to find a home. Cal, flash a picture of Bud up, please. There, that brand.
I
piece,
WhatsApp that across, Cal.
Yeah, that brand piece is quite interesting because we've got a really solid brand amongst the startup community in the UK, and we're building one in the US. And I think that is important. But our brand in our hubs is very tremendously strong in Cape Town because it's small. It's getting there in Bangkok, but it's so big and such a huge metropolitan city. But in South Africa, I'll give you this stat. You want to talk about brand, Doug? So this thing called Break the Rules, which is a talk for the latest graduates from UCT, so University of Cape Town. So the class is like 280 students a year. We go and we talk about what Mahara is, and there's like 10 other companies trying to get these students onto grad programs and stuff. Okay. How many of the 280 do you think applied to Mahara's internship and then as eventual grad program? Out of the 280 students, how many?
Fuck. Okay. You'd be absolutely buzzing if it was 50.
You would, yeah, you'd be buzzing. 223.
That is wild.
223 out of 280. And the main reason is we've just been hitting that brand stuff, and we send people there. We have a table. We do all of that kind of stuff. We give merch away. And every single time we get students coming through, like this time we hired 2 of them. Previous time we hired 2. And we only have 4 spots. 223 into 4 spots.
That's amazing. I love that. And I think for the first time we should turn this, Rich, into a lesson. And I think for anyone that has a business, I really think it's like, what is driving the real value in our business? What's our real competitive advantage that is like actually driving value and that cannot be copied? Because that is, and I think it's not always super obvious. Like I do think that Cape Town one that you've picked out is huge because not only have you got the presence, but they know people that have been hired, that their mates and their older brothers, and you've got that reputation. You cannot pay for that. You could not $10 million. No one could get a better. You could get brand. You could get your name out there, have a big fucking stand, but like you would not have that trust. You couldn't buy it. You can't buy that trust.
Yeah. So next time we have a discussion about moats, I'll become super prepared instead of just off the cuff. But that's a very good one for our brand position in South Africa. And I think our model is super unique. It's very, very difficult to actually make our model financially work. There's a company in the UK that had a very similar model and they shut it down after trying to do it for 7 years. They couldn't do it. So I think our model is hard to replicate.
One thing that I've learned that I used to be obsessed about, like I'm not saying you are, but I used to really look at competitors and who's doing what and how the space looks. And I now I have a very, very vague awareness, but I just don't even really think about it. I just think, can we deliver just a wild product? And if we can, people are going to want it.
Yeah, so I'm like a halfway house. I used to look at people that were bigger, more successful than us. I look at it a little bit, but I try to. It's going to sound cheesy, but I try to look for people that are really pushing the envelope. And that's why I'm really interested in the AI stuff, because that's at the front edge of stuff, and I want to be making sure that I'm not missing things I shouldn't be missing. I don't look at other venture studios really anymore. I don't really look at any other, software development companies, just because I know we're very good at what we do.
If you are building a technology product that you want to be world class, it's Mahara. If you are building a marketing campaign and you want a huge ROI, it is Kalium. And if you are looking for a marketing team where you can actually afford world-class people, it's Marketing Pros.